G'day everybody, I'm Milky Witch. Welcome on into my cottage. Today we're going to be doing a tour of my Bonza outback island of WATTLESEED. WATTLESEED is based on fair dinkum rural Aussie areas that I've visited in my home country of Australia. This whole island I created while on stream on Twitch. So thank you so much everybody in my community who was there to just give me ideas and keep me sane during the whole process. I really enjoyed making WATTLESEED and I'm super stoked with how it's turned out. So yeah, grab a cuppa and sit back and enjoy this true blue fair dinkum Aussie outback tour. Hello and welcome to WATTLESEED. I've picked a beautiful, clear, sunny day. Not many clouds in the sky. This is pretty typical outback Aussie weather. But we can start off by seeing our really bright green airport with the golden WATTLESEED flag. So, in case people don't know, I've named this island after one of our national plants, the wattle. It's a beautiful golden tree. Oh, I love it so much. So the flag is loosely meant to be that. I'm not going to lie, I half-assed it a little bit with a big W for WATTLESEED. So I guess we'll start off our tour by checking out the map. It is interesting. Please don't judge for my really odd map. So originally my plan was to have a lot more dirt on this island to sort of give it that vibe. But then I wanted like a billabong area as well. So the right side is the more like town and farming area with all the dirt, and then the left side is the more like, you know, abandoned billabong kind of zone. So the map is interesting. I discovered during this process that when you build a house on the textured flooring, it becomes grass. So there was a bit of a struggle there, but you'll see how I tried to make it all work. So we'll go through quickly the villager list. So we've got me, obviously Milky. We've got Sheila over here, purely because I wanted a tent in the campsite area. My baby Fauna, who is going to be on every island ever because I adore her. And we do have deer in Australia before someone ats me. Because yes, we tried to theme the, villages to be Australian themed. We got Roswell. He's my beautiful, dark chocolate, white chocolate swirl crocodile. Don't call them alligators, they're crocodiles here, thank you. Wart Jr., you had to have a bloody toad. They're everywhere in Queensland, especially. Molly the duck originally was going to be one of the girl koalas, but we already had two, and someone pointed out that ducks are cute, and then I remembered a big childhood memory of mine was actually going around the corner to a duck pond and just like drawing on my little notepad and watching the ducks. So she kind of ties into one of my fondest Australian memories. And then we got Gonzo, of course. Shep, because he's a sheepdog, which obviously farming is a pretty big thing here, especially out in the country. I mean, it's a thing everywhere, but you know what I mean. Carrie, because we had to have a kangaroo. They're all so ugly, but she was the most normal looking. Dom, because I think Australia has one of, if not the largest ratio of sheep to people. Like, just a big thing here, so we had to have a sheep. Aussie, just the most normal looking koala. And Henry, a green tree frog, which are like one of my favorite amphibians. So yeah, that's our lineup. Now let's go visit the island. Like I mentioned earlier, it's based on a rural Aussie outback town, and yeah, again, this is all made on stream, so I can't take credit for everything, but you know. Oh, and fair warning, it kind of lags like crazy on this island. So I'm using an older model Switch, which probably doesn't help. But yeah, you kind of just have to bear with it. I think it's from the excess of wheat fields with all that movement that they're doing. Look at this. So yeah, welcome to the entrance. Straight off the bat, we've got a little road that runs across the east to west sort of plain. And you can cross here. We've got a little bus stop. Trash features heavily on this island because it is what it is. No shade. No tea, no shade. And then, so at the front here, we've got our sort of communal barbecue. Throw a shrimp on the barbie, mate, even though we call them prawns. Throw a prawn on the barbie, mate. So this is just for everyone to sit back. There's a lot of decorative bottles around because, you know, you gotta, beer, Australia, it's basically synonymous. And then we got Fauna's house right off the bat. This is one of the first areas I decorated. I don't know why I chose her for this sort of sad house, but that's fine. This trolley, there's quite a few trolleys strewn about the island, and I will say this, I don't know if this happens in other areas of the world, if it's like a international phenomenon, but here, especially in rural towns, there's just trolleys abandoned everywhere. I felt validated the other day walking to the train station. I live in a city, not even rural, but on the way to the train station, there was just straight up a trolley. Literally a Woolworths trolley, which these are based off, just sitting in a yard. There was no Woolworths nearby. So I was like, yep, there it is. Okay, so then you can cross the road to the park. Kind of shady looking park. We got a little fire going, little trash zone from the Woolies next door. There's a soccer area, so, you know, not completely sad. Got someone doing some graffiti. But I found this code as like a filler graffiti code, and we ended up sticking with it because, you know, hey man. But little area to sit here. And so there's a few ways you can go on this island. I'm gonna take the way I find the most natural, but you do you. Hi, Fauna. So you can cross here into the tailor shop area. I found it very difficult to incorporate this, and I'm actually really bummed because I found out you can get to 3-star rating enough to decorate an island without actually building the tailors. So I'm going to keep that in mind, and that's a hot tip for you guys as well. And I wish I'd done that because instead it's sort of awkwardly shoved here on the beach. But that's okay. I figured a lot of beach towns, you know, they've got a lot of like bohemian clothing stores, so we'll just say it's that. And then if you keep going here, we've got a little car park for it as well. You can follow this beach area. This is like the fun beach zone. We've got a little portaloo, somewhere to like shower off, wash off the sand, which is pretty common. And, you know, a little volleyball area. I kind of gave up decorating this beach in case you can't tell. And then there's just this sort of mist zone. I usually like decorating beaches, but that's in my like more foresty islands. Making it an actual hospitable beach was fun. And then if you just run on the road here, we've got a little gas stop. And then you've got a pretty big chunk of the island is just this car park. So I'm going to call it a Woolies. For anyone who's not Australian, that means the Woolworths, which is one of our big supermarket chains. And I chose Woolies because I'm a Woolies gal. Hashtag get wrecked Coles. But yeah, so this is the car park. Got some pretty dodgy parking skills happening. This asshole parked over 2 parks. Again! It's pretty true to life. And then there's a little construction zone happening back here. And we'll come back and we'll explore the Woolies more near the end of the tour. Just because that's like technically my house. So we'll shove it in at the end. Feel free to click through to that if you'd want to on the video. So then you can come back through the park here. Someone's made like a hole in the back of the fence here. Classic. Or you can obviously run up the road. Very dangerous, but that's fine. And here we've got Gonzo's house. So I've sort of made him the local mechanic. So that's why there's like a bunch of cars and stuff outside. Oh, and it's trash day. For normal trash, which is green, and not recycling, which is yellow. These little details make it more fun to decorate, you know, when you've got a storyline happening. So yeah, this is Gonzo's pretty messy mechanic. And then we've got Carrie's house here, so she actually gets a lawn, like a yard, for her kid to play in, a little baby Joey in her pouch. Still doing her washing and stuff. Got some plants back there. She actually cares, you know. Probably not a huge fan of her neighbors. Someone pointed out this barbed wire fencing might not be super safe for kids, but listen, it's the nature of survival or something like that. And then we've got Aussie's house, kind of just a plain Jane sort of house. We've got his little dog back here. He's got a little barbecue going out back. Pretty, oh, hello again, Fauna. Pretty normal. And then here, I really didn't know what to do, so I just did the typical laundry peninsula. It sort of fits in. It's for all these guys, the community laundry zone. And then Aussie's been fixing up a yacht back here, so this is his work in progress. So yeah, that's the sort of closest we have to a neighborhood here, I suppose. And then if you run all the way back to the road here, you can walk up to the farming zone. So we've got the grills here, the grates to stop the sheep from getting out. And this is Animals Crossing. Anyway, the sheep have obviously been let out of that paddock to do some free roaming. And so this is the wheat farm run by Shep. I think this zone is like responsible for a lot of the lag on the island because of all of this. But yeah, he's just got his shed out here. Got somewhere to, what is it, milling grain? I don't know, you know, putting in the wheat, grain comes out, etc, etc. Very inefficient tractoring going on here. Then yep, there's his little farmhouse. And then we've got a bus stop at the end of the road for these guys. Because of course, you gotta have a bus stop with a lot of windmills going on back there. Then if you cross over here, we get to the more cattle area run by Dom. Don't ask me why there's a sheep who has like then cattled sheep. Just don't worry about it, it's Animal Crossing logic. So they have their little eating zone, and this is another typical site in Australia where there'll be one tree in the whole paddock and all of the sheep will be milling around underneath it. It's always really cute. So this is that for them. I really did try to think of things I've seen, you know, to maybe they're not that obvious from people who haven't been around, but it's definitely a labor of love for my country. So then we've got this sort of fake produce zone, I suppose. I didn't want to actually plant them. And here they are getting ready to get shipped off. Probably not to the local Woolies, probably getting exported to another country so that, so that we can overcharge here for our imported goods, but leave that topic for another day. This is the farming zone, and then we've got the pigsty back here. Love them. Love my little piggies chilling in the mud. And then we've just sort of got some misc sheds. We've got the horse and the cow. Don't ask what we're milking for that cow which has horns. Don't worry about it. Got some little chickens here, some little eggs. And then we have Dom's place. And then back here, as you can see from this convenient sign, we have our orchard. And this area was so fun for me because it sort of harkened back to the forest core that I was doing on the last island. And at this point, I'd only been decorating that front right that we've seen so far. So I was sort of hankering for some of these plants. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this fruit orchard. Just sort of tried to have one of every fruit. And then back here, I really didn't know what to do. So it's a bit of a sparsely decorated beach. That guy back there. Don't worry about him in the back road. Yeah, that's our little orchard zone with a well and whatnot. Some nice shots here if you'd like. I like all the windmills. I kind of went overboard. Who knows why they need that many, but why not? So now I'm just going to run back to the start so you don't have to watch all this. So here we are back in the square. Got KK Slider kindly playing for us. Thank you. And now we're going to run up here to another bus stop right outside the Tin Shed Pub. Tin, like, corrugated iron buildings are a classic here, and they are so entertaining. I imagine they're incredibly loud in the rain. You can actually climb up the back, I think. I'm not sure if I made that accessible in the end. But yeah, this is our pub. Got some fish and chips. You know, got some... Just a fun place to hang out. It's two-tiered, because this is the only pub in the area, you know? It's got to be pretty impressive. You keep coming to the left here. You can sort of get a glimpse to the Billabong area. We've got a sort of like youth hangout spot here. A guitar and some bottles and stuff. You can keep going to the left there, but we're going to head back down to the road. Walk past Molly's flower garden. It kind of stands out next to all the dirt, but it's like someone's got to do something nice for the island, you know? Keep heading down. We get to the shop. I really wanted it to stay in this tier, the like shack looking shop, because I thought it fit in a lot more. And then down here to the beach, we've got our little ice cream stand, which is a classic no swimming. There's sharks in them there waters. So just stick up here and eat your ice cream. Nice. Then we can cross this bridge. We have a little duck pond for Molly, just like I mentioned earlier, that pond I used to go to as a kid, so I had to have that with a bunch of little ducks around. And then if you keep going left, you'll get to the campsite. I was gonna head down, but let's keep going left. We've got another bus stop here. Really good public transport on this island, apparently. But yeah, we kept Blathers in the tent because the museum would have stuck out like a sore thumb no matter where you put it. And so I thought it looked quite nice here, actually. Got that little research zone. Keep heading down the road and then you get to the campsite. We've got lots of tents. For the dream address, I'll make sure there's someone in here. I probably should have done that for the tour as well. Kind of adds to the area. Yeah, just a pretty simple campsite. Little place to do your cooking and whatnot. Classic backpackers in Australia, you know how it is. And then if you head down here, we get to the fishing zone. Again, no swimming, which is not surprising when you see some of the creatures they've been fishing out. Yeah, we've got some spots for the different fishermen that have set up. Got a really horrifying lobster thing back here. Gross. Just lots of fish. And then a great white. We had to have one of them beauties, obviously. Classic Aussie fish. Which apparently you can just catch with a fishing rod in this game. I love that. A very simple decoration here. Happen. And then you can keep going up there, but I wouldn't bother. There's not a whole lot going on once you get past this sort of campsite zone. If we head on back, we can then head north. My apologies for not setting myself to offline for this island tour, but I really don't want to re-record it, so you'll just see people popping in. Sorry about that, very unprofessional of me. So if you keep heading north up here, we get, I probably should have mentioned when you cross the bridge, it's become this sort of dirt path now. So you can tell we're getting to the more like abandoned area of the island. Into the Billabong. Now, a Billabong is technically just like a stagnant pool of water that used to be a river, but then because of changing courses and whatnot, it became like I believe in other parts of the world they're called oxbow lakes. So technically this is not a billabong, but I don't know why I sort of just associate billabongs with like a swampy area, the Australian equivalent, so I'm gonna keep calling it that. Please no one at me. Yeah, so this is just sort of an abandoned zone. Another reminder, don't swim because there'll be bloody crocs in the water, mate. Gotta be careful around Australian billabongs. If you want to, you can come to the left here. We've just got this random misc chill zone. I, as you can tell, had no idea what to do with this area of the beach. So here you go. This is a somewhat preview to my next potential island theme. Just listen, okay? I've been working on one Australian theme the whole time. Let me have it. If you run back through... back to the road. You can start heading up. Oh, hi, Henry. Past some of this more green zone. This is technically another little bus stop. As you can see, everything's getting a little bit more decrepit now, less advanced when you get out into the true outback. Oh, Roswell. Obviously, Roswell is in the Billabong zone because he's the crocodile. And then up here, we've got his place. It's got a little area where he's been cooking outdoors where he can sit and play on his ukulele. And then over here we actually have a reference to a very classic Australian song that I'm sure all of you know, called Waltzing Matilda. So this is where the swagmen, you know, watched his Billy Boyle, aka this kettle, and here's the jumbuck that he shoves into his tucker bag. I'm remembering now, I think I wanted to grab a bag to place here to be the tucker bag, but that's fine. It's BYOTB. Bring your own tucker bag. Anyway, we've got some more ducks as always, but yes, we head back to the road. There's really no point. You can explore to like the lefts and the rights, but it is just filler. You know, have at it. And up here we've got the frog zone. So we've got this sort of abandoned petrol station here. And this is Wart Jr.'s home and Henry's. So this is the sort of frog pond area with that little outhouse, which is pretty disgusting. Yeah. I don't even think... Oh, no, yep, you can walk around it. Nope, no you can't. But that's okay. I'm sure they love being neighbors. And then the last little area you can explore is if you go to the right here. Then you can get to the mines. Mining is unfortunately a pretty big part of Australian culture, regardless of how I feel about it. And you'll notice that gold card in the back right, and there's gold here because the gold rush is quite a significant part of Australian history. So I thought that was how I would include that. But yes. So that is technically, I believe, yeah, the bulk of the main island. Pretty short tour, really. The areas are quite filler-y with only one or two significant things to look at, and I've obviously raced through it a little bit. But of course, feel free to take your time when you visit it for yourself. You know, there's little hidden things here and there. But for now, what we'll do is we'll run back to the Woolies, and I'll give you a quick tour of my place and the supermarket. So here we are back at the Woolworths. Got our nice display outside even, a classic gumball machine. And as you can see, there's a delivery happening right now. Ooh. So let's head on inside and have a look at our local supermarket. So here we are. I had forgotten that I'd time traveled and there'd be cockroaches everywhere, but I'm not gonna lie, for this island, it kind of adds to it. So here we've got our Woolworths. Everything is green, as it is. Got our fresh produce. Thank you, cockroach, for perhaps arguing that a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of just a packed supermarket vibe. We've got our cold section at the back left there. I've blocked off the left and right rooms because I really couldn't think of how to add more to it. Yeah, we've just got this main area here. Very classic Woolworths Metro kind of vibe with our little... Oh, everything's a bit tight. You can get around. You can get around to this back room. You can even play at cashier if you wanted to for some reason. But yes, if you head into the back room, we can have a look at the employee lounge. So here we are in this very sadly done up employee room. Probably not that surprising considering the vibe of everything else we've seen. So we've got some storage, we've got their lockers here. Listen, they got a pretty fancy coffee machine. Better than some workplaces I've been in, alright? They even have a TV to look at. Sure, it might be a little bit dated, but it's something. I mean, I don't know if I would work here, but it's technically habitable. And now we'll head downstairs into the basement storage area. So here we are in the basement. For some reason it's like as big as the actual store, but that's fine. So this is just sort of a box core storage area. Mostly full of just boxes and crates. We have got some spare stock back there. Just somewhat decrepit sort of area. I can't imagine it being very enjoyable coming down here, especially at nighttime. Some spider webs and everything. There actually is a radio over there. Huh, I thought I made this dead silent. Nope. It's slightly... I don't know if that makes it more or less ominous, to be honest. But now we're going to head upstairs into my house, which is just my little studio apartment. It's not even a studio apartment. It's actually pretty good. It's just an apartment, really, on the top of the Woolies. So I guess I own and run and work at this place. Yeah, sure. Why not? So here we are in my apartment. Fun fact, I squished a cockroach on the way up and there was only those two in the main area. So won't see any of them up here. So it's a pretty great floor plan for one person, I think. So we've got the main living room here. Lots of books. I got my, you know, my roasted spuds there for dinner. Cup of coffee, cup of tea. Got a little laundry area even. Got our little kitchen with the Woolworths brand cloth, of course. Got to stay loyal, brand loyal. It's kind of hard to show off because of the walls. It's a bit hard to look at everything. Lots of plants. Definitely a more modern feel to it compared to a lot of the rest of the island. Then in here we've got my bedroom. Got everything you need. Got your mirror and your drawers and your sloppy bed. And then an ensuite bathroom. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty fancy. I would live here happily and pay whatever the ridiculous rent is. Unfortunately, I couldn't put anything under this, so it's just sort of like an open bathroom. Just imagine there's at least a step down for the water to catch. Yeah, got a shower and our sink and our toilet. Everything you need, really. So that's our house. I'll meet you back at the front. Say our goodbyes. So that was our tour of WATTLESEED. I hope you enjoyed your time here in my little Aussie town. Again, I'll have the dream address in the description if you want to come check it out yourself. I had so much fun doing this island. It's so different to anything I've done before. But yeah, if anyone is considering doing like a town or city island and they've only done nature themed before, I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed your visit here. And right after this, I'll pop in a tour of all of the villager homes because they have all been uniquely decorated. And right at the end of the video, we'll have some sort of atmospheric shots like we did last time, just to have a last little goodbye to WATTLESEED. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. And I'll see you soon in all the houses. So here we have my baby Fauna's house. I see that she's got Henry over. Hello, you cuties. So Fauna decided to focus on the reading thing. For anyone who has seen my previous island tour video of Witchwood, I said that Fauna was big on reading. So I guess I've sort of just carried that character trait on to WATTLESEED. She's got this nice little reading lounge. And then of course she has to have a kitchen and somewhere back here for her to actually eat the food she makes. So that's what that area of the house is. And then back here is just her bed. I think this is a very cozy place. I would love to live here, assuming there is a bathroom attached somewhere. And as you can see, there's space enough to host, as Henry is kindly demonstrating back there. Yeah, just a nice little reading place for Fauna. Obviously, it looks a lot nicer on the inside than it does on the outside. Just can't judge a house by its yard, you know? But see you two, have fun. So here we have Gonzo's place. I was gonna say house, but it's really more of his garage. So yeah, here he is. A car that he's currently working on. Got like the spray paint ready in the back there to tidy it all up. Just like a lot of equipment, a lot of car stuff. I honestly had a blast building this. It's very similar to a different one I did on a Happy Home Paradise once. I don't know why I really like these like mechanic builds, even though it's really not my aesthetic. I think it's just because there's so many fun items for it. So yeah, he's got all of this stuff. Bit of like a box core, storage core. Got a step ladder back there in case he needs it. No, that's actually an Animal Crossing. That is like a proper sized ladder. And his little instant noodles and beer, obviously. He deserves a little treat. But yeah, look at him dusting everything off. I'm not sure if that's gonna help, mate. So, welcome to Carrie's place. Obviously, we had to incorporate the cute little Joey in her pouch, which is the name for a baby kangaroo. So they've got their sort of play area here. Obviously, it's the 2020s now, so we have to have some iPad kids. And then we've got a little laundry area and a kitchen here for them. Obviously, there's just one chair for Carrie, but she's sitting on the spare there in case she has company. So everything's like nice and brightly colored. It was nice to work with pink again, I'm not gonna lie. And then a bed back here for Carrie and a little crib for the baby. But yeah, I loved making this bright and colorful, which I feel like Carrie would appreciate. So yeah, just a nice little home for two. Thanks for choosing WATTLESEED to raise your Joey on, Carrie. So here is Aussie's place. We sort of decided that he's like a broke uni student vibes kind of place. So he's got his, you know, instant ramen here on the couch. He's obviously either just moved in or planning to move out, or he's just lazy and never unpacked these boxes. But obviously he's got his essentials set up. He's got his snacks and his laptop over here. His bed, some tissues. And his little very sad kitchen with some pretty busted, no doubt, hand-me-down appliances here. Oh! I'm so sorry. I did not mean to prompt this conversation. Please don't gurgle gurg at me. Please don't do that. Okay. And then over here, we've got the one thing he bothered to actually spend money on is TV. Because that is a priority that students have. And of course, it's a little mini fridge. Not sure why I decided to sort of clown on Aussie a little bit with this. I think it's just because he's got such a simple looking vibe, you know? I can't see him living in anything more. Oh, I guess I inspired him. Enjoy your lunch, sir. Welcome in to Chef's Place. Sorry, I took a moment of silence there to think whether or not it mattered that he had taken away some of his things, but I believe in the back right here was just, well, front right, was just a hay bale, so it's okay that Shep has sort of taken that over as a miniature kitchen. So the idea of Shep is that he runs a bakery because he's the one growing all the wheat outside. So obviously wheat and bread features heavily in here. So we've got that area where he prepares the bread and then just somewhere for him to sit and enjoy it. I suppose it's assumed that he sleeps in that shed outside, and this is just his sort of cooking bakery zone. I'm sure all of the villagers love to visit and get some fresh bread. It's got a very cozy vibe right now with the rain happening outside. And it feels kind of appropriate that he's cooking right now, actually. So yeah, thank you for letting us visit your delicious smelling bakery, Shep. So here we have Dom's place, and gosh, I love Dom in this moment because he is cooking, but he's using the actual kitchen stuff I gave him. What a legend. So yeah, Dom's just sort of got like a little bit of like a ranch style home, seeing as he lives on the farm, the cattle farm. He's just got some nice, lots of veggies because he's growing those veggies outside. So that's why everything around is vegetables. And then, yeah, he's got this little back door situation. Little cozy spot with the fire. I've put Pietro there. Shout out to my bestie, MEBT, who loves Dom and Pietro as a combo. So obviously I had to include Pietro in here. Yeah, I've got this little open door situation with this little outback hat and boots ready to go do some cattle stuff. Yeah, pretty happy with this one, and I hope that Dom is too. Clearly he likes his kitchen at least. Bye! So here we have Molly's home. She's very politely having a cup of tea rather than ruining anything with cooking or DIY. But yeah, I decided to just give Molly a nice little house vibe. Nothing special or unique, just because she's really cute and I didn't want to make it look kind of sad. So I've just sort of got a little table here in her kitchen with her bed in the back there. In her original home, she had this violin and music stand, so I thought I would incorporate it here too. Yeah, it's quite simple, but oh my gosh, the way I'm just dancing right now while I'm half in. But it's nice and cozy, which is what the precious little Molly deserves. Try to stick to sort of like green and gold and brown color scheme of the island though. Yes, thank you for having us, Molly. So, welcome to Roswell's place. We have decided that he is a keen fisherman, what with that pond outside. So it's a pretty simple setup for him. He's got his bed, he's got a table to eat at, and he's got something to cook his fish with. And that's all this guy really needs. A lot of, storage around the place. Got a little wash up in the back there, and some tools. And then here we've just got sort of like this little doorway situation with some shoes to head out into the forest, into the outback. Yeah, it's a pretty simple design, but I really like this aesthetic. This sort of house is really what I had in mind when first working on this island. So I had a lot of fun decorating Roswell as the outback fisherman. With a pretty big banger on the radio right now. Well done, sir. Yeah. Don't eat all those fish at once, Roswell. Welcome to Wart Jr.'s place. So, I'm not gonna lie, and this might be somewhat surprising, but I really did not know what to do for his place. But something I really wanted to feature was this sort of like water pond flooring, but just have a little bit exposed. So he's got his little pond in the middle. I mean, he's a toad, right? He loves it. So yeah, this is sort of the vibes we went with. Rather simple, He's not a complicated man, Wart Jr. So yeah, we just got somewhere to cook and eat. Somewhere simple to lay his head at night. And this sort of like overgrown jungly vibe. Yeah, I just really think it's fun to use this water. I think it would be more effective perhaps in a bigger room. But we had to work with what we've got. It was kind of fun trying to utilize the spare space that I left myself this one, but I think overall it looks pretty good. And I think it suits Wart Jr.'s vibe. Perhaps better than some of you would think that he deserves. Look at him having his cup of tea. Enjoy yourself, sir. Have a great day. So here we have Henry's place. Very politely cooking at the stove I gave him. Well done, sir. Yeah, so Henry, I really wasn't sure what to do. I wanted to have like a bit of an overgrown vibe since he's at the back here with Wart Jr. and deep in the Billabong. So I sort of decided he loves coffee because his original house was actually not so bad. We were tempted just to leave it as is, but no. And there was a lot of coffee equipment, so I gave him a lot of coffee stuff over here. Very relatable. I would love to live in this man's house. And then I put this nice little area to sit with the fireplace and drink your cup of coffee. And then this little reading corner, which I was really happy with. I don't know why I've never thought of this before, with like a little cushion here to sit and read with a cup of coffee, obviously. And then just like a little area here with a bed and more books. So yeah, bit of a nerd, I assume. And you know what? This explains why Henry was at Fauna's place earlier, because they both love books. He was obviously borrowing one from her. That's canon now. Yeah, just nice cozy vibes for Henry, but wanted to keep the sort of like green and brown color scheme. Yeah, I will let you get back to cooking your... What is that, like pine nuts? You enjoy that, sir. So here we've got Sheila's tent. I'll squish that cockroach for you. You're welcome, girl. So this is just a very simple thing here. It's really fun working with the tent. I would actually recommend anyone who's got an area where the tent will aesthetically fit in to have like a second villager to do this, or even your primary one, because it's fun working in the 4x4. I don't know, and keeping it simple. Yeah, so Sheila's just sort of got all the necessities. You got some cans, you got a little cooker here, got music and a lamp, got some beer in the back. What else do you need, right? Really, if I was polite, I would have switched to Sheila to show you this one, but that's okay. Yeah, just a nice little green and gold Aussie colours. Just to finish off the island, really. Thank you so much for joining me on WATTLESEED. It was so magical to create this island with all of you, and again, I just love how it turned out. Obviously, I'll pop the dream address in the description so you can have a little explore for yourself, and I hope you have as much fun checking it out as I did creating it. If you want to join in on the creation of my next island, feel free to come over, pop on by my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Milky Witch. Obviously, that will also be in the description. We have a lot of fun over there. It's a good time. We should probably get started on that in a couple weeks after the release of this video. If you enjoyed WATTLESEED, I have got my series going right now on YouTube about sort of just little compilation videos of the creation of WATTLESEED by my very talented editor. So yeah, if you enjoyed this island, you might want to go check out those ones. Those videos are still coming out. But yeah, thank you so much again for being here. I'll just leave you with some final, just atmospheric shots of WATTLESEED. And yeah, have a lovely day, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye, everybody.